This week, I had another set of topics lined up for us to discuss, but for some reason, I just had to deviate from that original plan because of a podcast that I watched in the previous week that couldn't leave my mind. I just kept replaying that. Well, I wouldn't say I kept replaying it, but I thought about it and it was a bit disturbing. I was deeply concerned about the content of that podcast. I was really moved with compassion as I listened to the narrator, the guest who narrated his story. But it got me thinking about others and the different things that happen in people's lives and how they should deal with those things ideally, especially when it has to do with relationships with other people that we may not be able to control. Like I've always said, you can only control yourself. You cannot control another. You can control what other people think, what they do, or how they react. This week, and I guess for most of the month, if not all of the month, I'd like to discuss some insights that I believe will be helpful and useful to the people I call my own people. Who are these people? They are the ones that are navigating life as middle-aged people, the people that are in midlife, that are trying to navigate that phase, especially if they have not accomplished the things that they thought they should have accomplished by now. The people that the society tag late bloomers. I'd like to share some insights that I believe will be useful to them if they find themselves in situations that are as emotional as the one I witnessed on this podcast. There is always a more excellent way. That's my belief. There is no condemnation, there is no judgment as to how people should express themselves or how they should handle their affairs. Everybody has the prerogative to do what they believe is best for them to do per time when faced with certain challenges or unfavorable situations, or even favorable ones. That's what life is. Life just happens. But no matter what the case is, there's always an excellent way. And on this channel, we believe in knowing more so that we can be more. It gives an edge. The thing about how we do what we do on this channel is the information we share, the insights we discuss, the knowledge we give from here, they are intangible. They seem intangible, but those are the depths that would eventually give the listener, the participator, the foundation they need to not just begin on whatever course they choose in life, but to sustain it. Because the work is internal. It's all about being, coming from within and showing outside. That's what this channel is about. Doing the hard work. The hard work is the work that is done inside, not the outward work. The outward work is important, but the internal work is the bedrock, the basis on which the outward work stands. Welcome to our channel where we discuss, study, and add knowledge so that we may know more and be more. And if this is your first time here, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you and we ask that you stick around because you're going to love it here. It's just going to be a chilled, heartfelt conversation. And that's why I just started already without even doing the regular protocols. But yes, I watch this podcast and I thought deeply about the midlife far, if you may, because the person who spoke on this podcast is in midlife. And there's certain pains that come with that phase of life. That's the phase where you think about the things that you should have been doing that you haven't done, the things that have been delayed, the things that have been lost, the things that are missing. And you begin to reflect on how you want to show up in the world, who you want to be. And the human brain is wired to focus on the negative. Sometimes we forget all the wonderful things that we might have done, accomplished, experienced. And the very little negative thing that jumps at us or happens in the process or on our journey, that's what gets our attention the most. And we find out that we beat ourselves up sometimes. But I want to say this thing because this is what life is. Life is life. Life doesn't give you a heads up when it wants to do stuff. When stuff happens, most of the time, we don't know. Nobody is prepared. Life doesn't tell you, okay, it's about to be your turn to get bamboozled, or how they say it in my local parlance, to get the basbos. There's no heads up. It just happens. But how should you manage yourself or yourself, yes, when you find yourself in the situations that I describe as the D's of life? The D's of life. There are quite a number of them, but I will say the much I can remember now. When you're in despair, when you're distressed, when you're discouraged, when you're disappointed, when you're dissatisfied, all those D's of life. Depressed. Depressed is now getting into a bit of the other extreme, of an extreme, a little bit. But of course, it's on a spectrum. So when you find yourself in these D's of life, what should you do? The excellent way, I want to use the word excellent way, is to exercise what I call discretion. Manage yourself with some discretion, discreetly. It's easier said than done, I know. But this one D will help you get a little bit of a perspective, some form of balance and restrain while you are trying to navigate those D's I just outlined. The term discretion is from the word discreet, to be discreet. Exercise some decorum. Because here is the thing, that's discretion that you kind of like pause and apply when you find yourself in those D's that I just listed, or experiencing those D's rather that I just listed. Could be the lifesaver. When you're feeling distressed, when you're in despair, when you're disappointed, when you're discouraged, when you are depressed, who should you talk to? That's what I want us to focus on today. Who should you talk to? You shouldn't talk to a podcast or you shouldn't speak in a podcast. You may eventually get there, but at that point, when the emotions are high, the tension is high, everything in you is screaming, who should you talk to? There are a few people that may be the better option than a podcast. You can talk to a counselor who is qualified to handle a situation, the kind of situation that you find yourself in. You can talk to a therapist who is a professional. You can talk to a mentor if you have access to one. You could talk to a guide or a coach if you have access to one. You can talk to a loved one who might be able to listen. And even if they can't say much to help, they can hear you out and give you a shoulder to cry on. This loved one could be a family member, like a parent or a sibling, even a child, depending on how old they are or how mature they are. You could talk to a friend. This lover could be a friend, but these are the people to talk to. These matters that are high in tension and are volatile in nature should be handled in privacy. They should be handled discreetly. It's only after you get some relief or you begin the process of recovery should you go out there and talk. Because the people you're talking to, they just have what we call itchy ears. They have itchy ears. I guess it was my own itchy ears that got me to watch that podcast from beginning to end. And I was like, wow, this video is getting longer than I thought. I'd like to bring it to an end now. But for you who is a midlife late bloomer, or just a midlifer, even if you're not a late bloomer, the reason why I'm using late bloomer is because the person had some delays in the things that they wanted to accomplish. They had some setbacks here and there, and it seemed like they were late. And so that was even the reason why the pain was more. They were so pained because of the lateness, the delays, the disappointments. So for you who could be in the same shoes as someone in midlife who is just finding their feet, trying to navigate their way, if you find yourself feeling any of these D's that I outlined, speak to somebody who is firstly either qualified or supportive. That's what I'm looking for. Either qualified or supportive enough to lend you their ears, their shoulders to cry on, their hand to hold, some guidance to help you navigate. Only after you have gone through this first, the initial exhaling, should you think of speaking to the public. Like I said, it's just going to be a heartfelt talk. Got to me that much, and that's why I decided to have this conversation. But we're not ending the conversation here today. We will continue on what next after you have exercised some discretion, when you should go to the public if you must. But thank you for stopping by. If this video helped you in any way, or you know someone it will help, please share it. When we know more and be more, we go out there and contribute better to our society. So remember, if you don't remember anything else, remember that there is always a more excellent way to handle your pain other than letting it blow up. Well, I'll just stop it here for now. Until I see you again, same time next time, for another discussion, for the continuation rather of this discussion. Stay grounded, exercise discretion, and adios.